What if I told you that hidden inside your mind right now is a dormant frequency? A powerful mind switch that once activated has the ability to change the way that money, opportunity, and success respond to you. A switch that only the world's most naturally wealthy and effortlessly lucky people have already turned on, whether they know it or not. And in just minutes from now, you could join them. Not by working harder, not by networking, meditating, or visualizing, but by activating a mental frequency so magnetic, so potent, that wealth, success, and prosperity could begin flowing toward you as if you were born for it. You've worked hard, pushed, pulled. You've read the books, listened to the podcasts, tried to think positive, maybe even scripted your future down to the dollar amount. You've done the work, and yet it still feels like something is blocking you, like there's an invisible wall between you and the life you know you're meant to live. Wealth, love, confidence, freedom, so close you can almost taste it. But it just doesn't land. They told you to hustle harder, to rewire your mindset, to vibrate higher, or that maybe you just weren't aligned yet. But what if none of that is true? What if the real reason you're stuck isn't because you're not trying hard enough, not because you're broken, not because you're missing a piece of some cosmic puzzle? What if the switch was never outside of you? What if there is something already within you, a frequency, a state of mind, that once awakened doesn't just improve your life, it alters the course of it? Hidden inside every human being, regardless of age, background, gender, or past mistakes, is a dormant mental state, a biological rhythm, a coded frequency that determines whether you attract success or silently repel it. Some call it presence, others call it magnetism. Science calls it the alpha state, but we call it something different. Because when it's activated, everything changes. Not over months, not over 10 years of inner work, but sometimes within minutes. Imagine this. You walk into a room and people feel you before you speak. Money might start to come towards you, unexpected opportunities, strange coincidences. You're more relaxed, certain, powerful. Not arrogant, just aligned. You stop chasing and start drawing. You stop guessing and start knowing. That's what happens when this internal alpha frequency is finally switched on. You see, there are two types of people in this world. Those who are stuck living in beta, overthinking, doubting, grinding, and those who have found a way to access their alpha state, where intuition, confidence, and magnetism comes naturally. The difference between the two, not education, not money, not some inner circle of elites whispering secrets. No. The difference is whether or not the switch has been flipped. And here's the part no one ever told you. You don't have to earn this state. You don't have to deserve it. You were born with it. It's inside you right now, waiting. This is not just about manifestation. This is about activation, about remembering what life feels like when you're tuned into the frequency of power, clarity, and purpose. And once that switch is turned on, there's no going back. You'll start to see the difference, feel the shift, and the world, it will start to respond differently to you. Money could begin to appear in unexpected ways. Opportunities, windfalls, the right people and situations drawn to you like gravity. You'll no longer chase wealth. It will come to you. So the question isn't if it exists. The question is, are you ready to switch it on? Hi, my name is Liam Davis, and a couple of years ago I lost everything that mattered to me. Not in some big dramatic collapse, but in a slow, silent kind of way. The kind of loss that creeps in while you're still pretending everything is fine. Back then, I worked as a night shift supervisor at a packing plant. 12-hour shifts, concrete floors, fluorescent lights. I'd come home smelling like ink and solvents. And I'd collapse on the sofa most mornings just as the sun was rising, praying my 2-year-old son wouldn't wake up for another hour so I could close my eyes. His name's Jamie, brightest little soul I've ever known. All he wanted was to play, to be held, to show me the crayon monster he'd drawn that morning, and all I could give him most days was a weak smile and a promise of maybe later. My partner Sarah did everything she could to hold us together. She worked part-time at a dental clinic, handled the bills, took care of Jamie, took care of me, and still I could feel it, the frustration building in her day by day, the silence between us getting heavier, the way she'd look at me like she was trying to remember the man she fell in love with. I felt it too, because I wasn't that man anymore. I was tired all the time, not just from work, but from the weight I was carrying inside. I kept thinking, is this it? Is this all life is? I tried everything to get ahead. I took online courses, read books on manifestation and mindset. I watched hours of YouTube gurus telling me to visualize success, to raise my vibration, to act as if. I stayed up late journaling, scripting, trying to reprogram my thoughts, but nothing shifted. The debts kept piling. The tension in our home kept growing, and slowly it felt like life was turning its back on me. Then came the night everything cracked open. I'd just finished a double shift. It was raining. I missed the last bus and walked 3 miles home in boots that were falling apart at the seams. When I finally got to the flat, soaked to the bone, I found Sarah sitting on the edge of the bed. Jamie was asleep. Her suitcase was packed. She looked up at me, red eyes, trembling hands, and said, "I can't keep doing this, Liam. I don't even know who you are anymore." She took Jamie and went to her sister's. I didn't stop her. Not because I didn't care, but because deep down I agreed with her. I was lost. I was empty. And the truth is, I didn't know how to fix it. For weeks, I lived in that empty flat. Bare mattress, unopened bills, Jamie's crayon drawings still stuck to the fridge. I didn't go out, didn't answer calls, didn't see the point. The world felt like it was happening without me, like I was invisible, like I'd failed some invisible test everyone else had passed. I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? Why does life feel so easy for other people and so heavy for me? That question haunted me. Because deep down, I didn't believe I was lazy. I didn't believe I was stupid. I just felt like there was some part of me that had never been turned on. Like everyone else got given a map at birth, and I missed the handout. And I know, if you're still watching this, you probably know that feeling too. Then, just when I thought things couldn't get any darker, something unexpected happened. It was about 2 months after Sarah left. I was at one of those free self-improvement events I found through a local Facebook group. To be honest, I didn't go because I thought it would change my life. I went because they said there would be free coffee, and it beat sitting in an empty apartment. It was held in the back of a hotel conference room. Folding chairs, fluorescent lights, the usual mix of hopeless faces and tired ones. I sat in the back row, arms crossed, just observing. That's when I noticed him. Not one of the presenters, not wearing a mic or pushing a book. He was just sitting in the audience like the rest of us. But there was something different about him. The way people looked at him. The way the air around him felt heavier, more focused. He wasn't trying to get attention. He just had it. Later, during the break, we ended up next to each other in line for coffee. We made small talk, weather, the speakers, that kind of thing. And then, out of nowhere, he looked at me and said, "You're not sleeping much lately, are you?" I just froze. I hadn't said a word about what was going on in my life. He smiled and added, "There's something in your energy, like your mind's working overtime but getting nowhere." It was eerie how accurate he was. I asked him who he was. Aaron Surtees, he said. I didn't recognize the name at the time, but later that night I looked him up. What I found floored me. Aaron Surtees isn't just some self-help guy. He's one of the most sought-after hypnotists and subconscious performance experts in the world. He's helped Olympic athletes break through mental blocks, coached Fortune 500 executives through high-stakes deals, and even been called in by celebrities when their careers were falling apart. His name's been featured in international press, TV, magazines, podcasts. He normally works with private clients in Europe, but his reputation stretches across the globe. And somehow, there he was, sitting next to me, talking to me, like the universe had dropped him in my path for a reason. We got talking, and I ended up telling him everything about Jamie, about Sarah, about how life just stopped making sense. He listened quietly, no interruptions, no fake sympathy, and then he said something that struck me. "You're not broken, Liam. You're just misaligned. You're out of rhythm with the frequency you were born to operate on." I didn't understand what he meant, so he started to explain. Aaron told me that through his years of work with clients, those CEOs, elite athletes, even celebrities, he discovered something unusual. There's a mental frequency he noticed in people who seem to attract success effortlessly. Not just mindset, not just belief, a neurological state, a rhythm the brain falls into where confidence, clarity, and magnetism just switch on. He called it the alpha frequency. He said most people are trapped in a constant beta state, stress, self-doubt, overthinking, but once you drop into alpha, your thoughts and actions become aligned, almost instinctive. You stop chasing things and start attracting them. He'd spent years developing a method to help people access this state, not through effort or practice, but through a direct mental activation he called the alpha switch. It wasn't just some long program. It was a precise, guided experience he'd been refining for years. And as he put it, it doesn't teach you to be powerful. It reminds you that you already are. Then he looked at me, dead serious, and said, "I can help you, but only if you're actually ready for life to start responding to you differently." I didn't know what to say, but something in my chest stirred, like a light flickering back on after being dark for too long. We agreed to meet the next day, just the two of us. And that is when everything started to change. We met that afternoon in a quiet corner of the hotel lobby. Aaron had cleared his schedule, said he wanted to show me something that couldn't wait. Aaron could tell I was intrigued but skeptical, so he sat down across from me and said, "Liam, I'm going to explain something that almost no one knows about, but once you understand it, your life will never look the same." Then he asked me a question that caught me off guard. "Have you ever walked into a room and just felt someone's presence before they even said a word? Like they had gravity?" I nodded. That's someone who's tapped into their alpha frequency, a state of brainwave coherence where your mind, body, and energy align in perfect flow. It's not just confidence, it's magnetism. It's not just focus, it's command. Then he broke it down. There are 5 primary brainwave states: delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. He said most people today are stuck in beta, a chronic, anxious loop of overthinking, survival mode decisions, and self-sabotage. The beta state is useful for short bursts, but live there too long and your nervous system stays fried. You can't attract wealth, love, or confidence from that frequency. You repel it. When the brain shifts into alpha, everything changes. It's the gateway between the conscious and subconscious mind. The state elite performers, artists, negotiators, visionaries, and entrepreneurs naturally slip into when they're operating at their best. Alpha is where you stop reacting and start influencing, where intuition sharpens, ideas flow, your voice changes, people lean in when you speak without knowing why. Then he looked me in the eye and said, "The alpha frequency isn't new, it's ancient. Mystics, warriors, healers, they accessed it in different ways. Breathwork, chanting, isolation. But now, thanks to neuroscience, we know how to switch it on almost instantly. That's where the alpha switch came in." Aaron spent years studying the brain's electrical rhythms and how specific auditory triggers could guide the mind into alpha with surgical precision. He explained something called frequency following response, a natural phenomenon where the brain begins to match the rhythm of external stimuli. When the right sound frequencies are layered with hypnotic language and neural sequencing, it's like giving the brain a shortcut, straight to alpha. He had developed a method, a hybrid of clinical hypnosis, cognitive priming, and advanced audio engineering to do exactly that. Not a motivational speech, not a meditation, but a kind of mental ignition, a way to flip the switch that had been dormant inside me my entire life. Once the alpha switch is activated, Liam, your brain stops looking for danger and starts looking for possibility. The world doesn't just feel different, it becomes different. Because you're finally tuned to the frequency where success lives. When you're operating in alpha, you stop chasing money and start attracting it. Opportunities show up without struggle. The right people notice you. You make decisions faster, with certainty, and the world responds. Wealth flows to those who move like they already belong in it. Alpha puts you in that space, mentally, emotionally, even energetically. It's not magic, it's alignment. I just sat there, quiet, processing it all. It sounded like science, but it also felt like something deeper, like he was describing a part of myself I'd forgotten, but always sensed was there. Then he said, "This is what's been missing. You're not lacking talent, drive, or intelligence. You've just never had the signal turned on. Let me show you what happens when it is." He stood up, gave me a look like he already knew what was coming next, and said, "Come with me." We walked through the lobby and took a private elevator down to the hotel's wellness center. A quiet, high-end space tucked away from the noise and distraction of the world above. It was quiet, dimly lit, peaceful, but with a strange tension in the air, like something important was about to happen. He sat me down in a recliner and placed a pair of noise-canceling headphones over my ears. "I want you to just relax," he said. "You don't have to try to make anything happen. The switch flips on its own, when the mind is guided properly." He tapped a few things on his phone, and within seconds I heard it. A deep, rhythmic pulsing sound, layered with soft tones that seemed to move through my skull like waves. "This is binaural entrainment," he explained. "Your brain is naturally following the frequencies. In a few minutes, it will begin to synchronize with the alpha rhythm, around 8 to 10 hertz. That's the sweet spot, the gateway." Then came his voice. Not like normal speech, but low, steady, deliberate. Each word seemed to bypass my conscious mind and sink directly into my nervous system. He guided me through a series of visualizations, but not vague, feel-good stuff. They were sharp, vivid, and specific. I saw myself receiving money. I saw my hands signing checks, making deals, shaking hands with powerful people. I saw bank balances rising, clients smiling, doors opening. And for the first time in my life, I believed it. Because Aaron wasn't just feeding me fantasy, he was rewiring the subconscious patterns that had kept me stuck in scarcity for years. "Right now," he whispered, "your subconscious mind is accepting new rules. That wealth is natural to you, that you deserve to receive."